this Simplicity ZT1500 today. It's got a few different issues. The first of which is as soon as you release the parking brake or move either the handles in or engage the PTO, the thing completely dies out. I'm going to show you how to fix that part, and then there's a couple other issues going on with this. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button as we go along if you enjoy the content. So you get on your mower, you go ahead and you start it up, and you release the parking brake, and the first thing it does is dies. The first thing I like to test is the seat safety switch. You can push both sides in and kind of push the thing in and then pull it all towards you to remove it completely. Come right out of there, kind of down and out at an angle when it comes out. Now this, as it's pushed in here, the little tab that holds it in place is broken. Now if this switch is out here, even though the tabs are in it, it will not work. So let's test this switch real quick. There's a safety in there, I'll show you that in 1 second. To test this, you can put your meter on ohms resistance. You should have virtually 0 when you touch your leads together or when you test your switch, or you can put it on ohms beep. It's just this kind of beep symbol here, which means as soon as you touch them together, you'll get a continuity beep. So this switch is normally closed. When you push the switch in or sit on the seat, it opens that connection. The same thing, there's a safety down right in here. And what that does is if this switch is not installed, if this button in the middle is not pushed, there is continuity between these two wires also. That ensures that you can't just unplug this and bypass the seat switch, since it's a normally closed switch. The seat switch is working properly. Let's see about, that's working properly also. Let's see when it's plugged in and fully seated up against there, do we still get continuity between the two? That means that this little safety in the middle is actually bad. Even when it's being pushed in all the way, it is not working properly. We're going to remove that. What you can do is you can take just a small screwdriver and kind of pry from the edge out. And that whole middle piece and this little spring in here is going to come out. Now there's nothing in the middle, and there's not going to be continuity when we plug this switch back in. There's not going to be continuity between the two tabs on either side. Zero continuity. Now as we go to get on it to move, the parking brake will now come off, the handles will go in, the PTO will engage. The problem is, if you see here, when the parking brake comes off, you can tell it doesn't quite actually get pulled all the way back. This means the brake is not actually coming off the hydros. When we go forward, you can tell that the brake is still engaged. That's a quick, easy fix also. We're gonna take our T30 here. We're gonna take all 4 of these bolts out. Kind of pull that up and out of the way. Thought it was a little easier. I think maybe it was caught on the switch in the back. You can pull that to the side. I'm just going to unplug it so we can get a little better of a view, we're gonna look and see exactly where the cable goes in. Now what's happening here is that cable is not actually allowing it to pull through all the way to the back. I'll show you the back portion of it, but we're gonna lube it up at the top while we do that. Just gonna use some Kimball Midwest Torque CB. And I'm just gonna spray it right down in the hole and let it kind of get all along. See, it's not going back. It should actually stretch that and pull that cable back through towards the back side. We'll pull it forward and work it in a little better. Sometimes this cable will actually have to be replaced, but I think in this case, it's right there on that edge where I think we can work it through. Maybe it'll be okay. Let's check that bottom side out while that gets down in there. As we come under and look at the back here, we can see that the brake is still engaged. Our brake here on the left side, it's still locked in there, and it is on the right side also. It's locked into the notches for the brake. This whole thing is supposed to come back this way. Now there's a couple springs up here. They pull it back on either side. If I can't get a better light up there. There we go. A couple springs here and here. Those are in good shape, and it looks like these tabs have maybe even been bent at one point. Maybe they had this issue before. This thing's not exactly new. I think it's a 2015 model, so it's been around a little bit. But if we follow it back a little further, we'll see that that same cable ends right here. That cable comes back to here. That light back up there. Comes right up here, and that's what actually pulls on that bracket to disengage that brake. So if we just grab it and pull and see if we can't get it to free up a little bit. So I'm gonna lube it up real good there, best I can. Throw a little more lube on it. And then basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back to this bar and I'm gonna pull on this bar and see if I can't free that up. Oh, yep. It comes back, but it doesn't want to free up completely. Still feels kind of rough both directions. But it does look like the brake's off now. So now it looks like with working it back and forth a little bit, it does look like it's unstuck. I'm going to engage and disengage that brake up top a few times here. See what it does down below. It does seem like everything is properly working now, and that the brake is fully coming off on either side. If we look back here, the brake has came fully off on both sides, so it's not still engaged into there. The cable was just a little bit rusted. May need replaced if yours is in bad shape. In this case, it's completely free with just a little bit of lube on either end. As we look down below, we see that the belt actually has a couple pretty bad spots in it in a few different places, and that this idler pulley is actually sitting sideways. This whole bolt and nut is not tight. We're gonna need to fix that also. I've actually got the belt and idler here, so we'll see if that's what they want to do. You can see this whole sideways assembly here and see that the nut on top is not even tight. Completely loose, so if we move this, the whole bolt and nut's just kind of moving. Coming back over here, I am just going to go ahead and give it one more good spray down on that cable. And then I'm also going to plug back in the ignition switch. And then we're going to put these bolts back in. Hold that cover on. And now, when we engage that parking brake and let off, it snaps all the way back. There's no looseness there in it. To replace the belt, go ahead and disconnect our wire coming from the PTO clutch. Just unplugs there. Very easy to do. This one looks a little bit damaged. The clips aren't still in there. Not sure why. Maybe it's hit the belt or something at some point. But obviously it was still functioning properly. Not going to worry too much about it. Next, we can roll this belt off. I like to just grab the corner and turn as you go. If you turn this pulley, it'll just roll right off of there if you keep it pinched at the corner. Don't let it snap back too much, that way it doesn't come off the pulleys in the front, and we can put it back on easily also. On this mower, we actually do not have to take the PTO clutch off to replace this belt. Otherwise, if you're having difficulties, you can take this 5/8 bolt out the bottom, and the PTO clutch will drop straight off. Again, not needed in this instance. At the top left, we see this other belt, and all I'm going to do is exactly the same thing. I'm going to turn all this at the same time while kind of pinching that against the side in order to get this off of here. Now the belt is loose. We can take the belt off from here. Just goes around the first pulley over to the engine pulley. Take it off the other side here. And then we'll go down around the PTO and pull it from the bottom. Pull it to each side. Last piece from up top around. There's a strap here that holds the PTO in place. It'll need to come off next. It's just a 1/2 inch. And it's a bolt that goes all the way through. Got a washer on that side. And you can pull the bolt from the back side straight down. And that allows you to get the belt out from under that strap. That strap just disconnects there. Then we move the belt on the bottom side of the strap. And the belt is free. Before we do anything, we're going to take the 9/16 bolt and nut off the idler pulley so we can install the new one. It's just a bolt that goes all the way through, nut on the bottom side, bolt that goes all the way through. It's a washer also. It is under some spring tension, so you'll have to kind of work it around. Packed up inside there with grass and stuff. You can see that very easily. Oh, extremely rough too. It barely even moves. Surprised it wasn't locked up, burning the belt up to begin with. Put our new one up on there. Just grabbing this pulley and kind of pulling it over. Grabbing the arm and pulling it over anyway. There's a bolt here at the back that kind of gets in your way a little bit. New one on. Just gonna let it set there. Put my bolt and nut back on. Went ahead and took the whole thing out. The bushing is kind of stuck in there, and that's not where we want it to rotate. We don't want it to rotate on the bolt, we want it to rotate on the bushing. Just gonna go ahead and punch this bushing out. And then we're going to clean this all up, make sure that rolls smoothly on there. In a real good shape except for this one spot. Feels good now. Take just my pipe cleaner. That jobby do, get all that out of there. Nice and clean. Now it spins freely, and put some grease on that before we get this all back together. Got my grease gun out, gonna throw a little grease on it. All around. Throw that in there. On the back side. All set. A little bit in the middle. Not that it should move there anyway. Now I've got the spring back on how it should go, and basically from the underside I'm going to put it up in there, and you almost have to twist a little bit and get it into this little tab before it goes up through the hole. As we're looking at the hole there, you can see it's almost, the metal's almost sitting at a little bit of an angle. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get a washer in there and fix that or not. Either way, it didn't seem like that was causing the belt to actually come off, but ideally we want it to be level there. So although this is not perfect up top, it still looks like it has a tiny bit of an angle to it. It is a lot beefier than what it was, and the angle down below is hardly any. So first off, let's get everything past that strap at the back again. Get everything back up to the top. One side there. Just kind of feed it up through till it's all past that strap. Looks like there's another washer on the top of that strap that fell. We're gonna put that strap back on real quick. So we got one washer on top through the bolt. Washer and nut at the bottom. Kind of a hard angle to get everything, I feel like, but first off I'm just going to pull this past the idler here and over the left hand side hydro. Go straight up and over. From there on the back side, the belt is going to come around this way towards the idler, and then it's actually going to go below the idler and get on there on the idler pulley. And then it goes to the right hand side, and you can either pull the pulley as you do it or just turn it and kind of cam it against the hydro. Do kind of a combination of both here. And then when you let it go, you've got good tension on your belt. This is from Parts Tree. If you're looking from the back of the mower, it's straight across the front, goes around the left hydro, around the engine pulley, then it goes around the idler pulley up at the front here, and then around the right hand hydro on the right hand side. Plug your PTO connections back in. Nothing too major as far as the repairs that needed done. A couple different small repairs, none of which was too difficult to complete. Hopefully this has helped somebody out get their ZT 1500 back up and ready into action again for the year. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the content.